Alright, so the trick is you gotta push your arms against the bench, and then they look like twice as big.
Good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Peyer Daniel here, and
Kyle.
And today we are going to be talking about supplements and basically some overhead press lifts along with a little bit of shoulders and I think a little bit of triceps. So let's get into it. So basically for supplements, we're going to go over what we take for our pre-workouts. Normally in an overall day, I usually take like an overall vitamin like, what is it, 1 a day men's. Do you do anything like that at all?
Yeah, I'd always recommend a multivitamin. It can never hurt. You're just going to get, more nutrients unless your doctor says something specific, and you shouldn't be taking them. But yeah, totally. Multivitamins, good for you, and yeah.
Yeah, a couple other things I take are actually vitamin in addition. I take the 1 a day men's in the morning, and then at night I usually take an additional vitamin B12, vitamin E, and vitamin D, just because being in a northern state, I feel like having the vitamin D is good for, just the lack of sunlight and all that, and then the vitamin E is supposed to be like great for you, and vitamin B obviously is one of those cure-all things that they say. So
yeah,
can't help, or it can't hurt, so I might as well just take it and hopefully not get sick and avoid these things like I'm actually having right now. So apparently it's not working. But anyways, we're gonna go over the pre-workout, kind of what we take. Kyle is a little bit more different than I am, but I already made mine, so, and it's in a couple other videos, so you can look at that. But this is what Kyle is gonna go over, so we're gonna give it to him.
So, pre-workout. Normally what I take caffeine for sure. So normally I have caffeine pills, but this week I'm gonna go a little light on the caffeine just because I'm coming off of a meet, and I was super high on caffeine for the meet. So normally, especially if you're trying to do some real heavy lifting, I definitely recommend caffeine. It's actually gonna help your overall strength. But yeah, I'd recommend probably somewhere around 300 to 500 in general, but it really depends on the size of yourself, so there's some stuff you can look up to figure out what level you should kind of be at.
I actually just read a magazine or article on it, and it's actually you're supposed to take 3 grams of caffeine for every kilogram you weigh for peak performance reasons. At least that's what was done in the study.
But in general, I like to start just with a basic pre-workout. I just got this at the grocery store. It's got just some caffeine, the flavor's obviously there, and we got some, I think it's just creatine in here otherwise. But yeah, it's mostly just caffeine that I'm looking for, and a little bit of flavor. So I usually just do a scoop of this, and then I'll normally empty out my caffeine pills into my pre-workout just so I can absorb it a little faster. Now that being said, it doesn't really help too much, but I just don't like taking pills, so I'll open it up and just throw it in there. But yeah, otherwise before a workout, creatine's always a good idea. As far as what type of creatine, I would recommend nothing other than creatine monohydrate for now. All the studies and stuff are showing that really all you need is the creatine monohydrate. All that special stuff, you're just paying for maybe something that'll work. There's no conclusive studies that are showing that anything's better than anything else. So creatine monohydrate, super cheap. I recommend it for anyone who's trying to strength train. It's just gonna help recovery. It's just gonna help muscle growth. So yeah, totally recommend that. And as far as how much I recommend taking, you really don't have to take the whole 5 gram servings. Normally I'd recommend right about 3 grams just to once your body absorbs a certain amount, we just need to maintain it. So you're just wasting money by taking 5 grams, and I totally skipped the loading phase. It normally tells you to take, I forget, it's something like 20 grams.
Yeah, something like
for
that.
The first couple of days, just for your body to absorb it. And that's the only time that there's negative side effects from creatine, is just from that loading phase. So it's just going to take a couple extra days for your body to reach that full saturation. But yeah, I recommend right about 3 grams of that. I got a little scooper in here that's right about 3 grams, but I took this to my meet, and I lost my scooper in here. So we're going to use a fork.
Solid.
And we're gonna write about, yeah, that looks about good. That's definitely 3 grams right there. But yeah, otherwise, other things I'd recommend. I always take one of these, L-theanine. It's basically, I mean, it helps you relax. It really helps counteract the kind of the anxiety that comes with caffeine in particular, and it's a vasodilator, and caffeine is a vasoconstrictor, so basically caffeine's trying to make your blood vessels and such smaller, and then this is going to counter that and bring it back to a normal size, and it's also going to help basically get rid of that almost buzzy feeling while still getting the effects of the caffeine. Otherwise, I got this L-glutamine. I'm not a huge fan. I wouldn't recommend it unless you got some extra money to just throw at supplements, but it's only going to help recovery. But once again, main thing, just make sure you're getting some creatine. Recently, Dan and I been upping our salt intake, so I'm doing the Himalayan sea salt.
Pink sea salt.
Yeah. They got more micronutrients, and also the other thing with like sea salt is it can also be high in plastics, because, well, we're getting it from the ocean, and there's all these microplastics that are in the ocean. Sea salt is going to be better for you. It's got more micronutrients. It doesn't have the plastic because it's not coming from the ocean. And yeah, so I like that. It really helps, especially if you're cramping, even like during a workout. Totally take it. That means you're lacking something, so I just pop one of those, and cramping should go away actually pretty quick when your body absorbs it. But yeah, so I'm just going to do basically a scoop of normal pre-workout just for some flavor. We got some creatine in here, and I'm going to take an L-theanine pill. And normally, like I said, especially for powerlifting, I'll take an extra caffeine pill on top of that. But for today, this is going to be enough for more bodybuilding style workout. But yeah, that's about it.
So yeah, we're going to drink our pre-workouts, as you guys see. And we're going to get to the workout, so let's get to it.
Yeah, I don't believe in destiny. I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy.
Yeah, we're just doing band pull parts. We're really trying to strengthen, well, I suppose activate those scapular muscles, those muscles right around our shoulder blades. That's what really helps stabilize the shoulders and keep everything in place. So warming up, I always just recommend band pull parts. So we're just pulling apart, pivoting through the shoulder, and the main focus is just to get those shoulder blades together as much as you can, right there. We always want the shoulder blades to be nice and tight to the rib cage, so this just helps strengthen them, keep them safe.
But I'm still gonna fight for what I love, still gonna die for what I love, still gonna try, I won't give up, still gonna fight until I've won. They say I'm way too obsessed and I've got nothing left, and I'm not quite there yet, but those words they'll regret, cause I've got something left and I'm not giving in.
Alright, we got our overhead press going on. A couple of major things. We just want to make sure our wrist position's good. We just don't want those wrists folded back. We want that weight coming straight down through the forearm. Other main things, you can see we're pushing directly overhead once we get above the head. Right there. Bam! You'll see a lot of people keep their chest out and totally fold back like they're doing almost an incline press. And then we're not using shoulders, we're using chest. So we got to keep that nice and tight and close to the face, and then straight overhead. We're just going to keep recording. Awkwardly long.
My turn.
So basically Kyle's doing the same thing as I am. He's just putting on a little bit more weight. He's a little bit stronger. So Kyle does it a little bit differently with his foot positions. He has it off kilter, as you guys can see. Basically just pushing right up through it. Hand position is basically where he benches. So nice, good stretch for those shoulders. And yeah, pretty good. How does it feel?
Feels good, feels good. My grip's a little bit narrower than my bench.
Okay.
When I started doing some really wide overhead press and actually spraying both of my sternoclavicular joints. So yeah, the narrower grip really works for me. And then you know, it's a little bit more tricep being narrower, but going wider apparently didn't work for me. So
basically what we're trying to say is bodybuilding and lifting in general is basically an individual sport. So go off of your body, how you feel, Basically, I do a little bit wider than he does. Like he said, he injured something, so that obviously didn't work for you. It could work for you. Just try different things on what you guys like and what works for you, and that's going to be the key to it all. As you guys can see, this is going to be our second exercise for the day. We're doing a little bit of a superset, so lateral raise and then rear delt raise. So for these exercises for shoulders, we're going to try and stay in the rep range of 6 to 10. That's going to be the greatest range for hypertrophy. And as you can see, I'm out of breath, really getting a lot of those reps in. So it's really weakening those muscles and giving me a great pump with the mind-muscle connection. But basically, I dropped the weight for this one, went from 25 to 15, just because my rear delts are a little bit weaker, and I don't want to move those shoulder blades. So what I try to do, and what I learned, this is how I do it myself. Kyle helped me with this. Basically, I contract my upper chest muscles, and therefore my rear delts don't move as much. And that's the key for me in this exercise. Obviously, like we were saying before, it's a little bit different for everyone. Kyle, what do you think for this exercise, how you do it? Do you still do the same thing as I do, or that you taught me with the...
Yeah, so I do like to squeeze forward, which it really does help to activate that upper chest. But yeah, we're really trying to just get those shoulder blades out as far as we can, because we do have a tendency to kind of squeeze through our traps instead, which basically no matter what, we're going to get trap activation in this exercise, but we can limit that and we can really focus on those rear delts if we really keep those shoulders spread apart.
But yeah, basically that's going to be it. We're going to do 4 sets of these. We're going to do, 5 sets of these. We did 4 sets for the overhead press, military overhead press, and whatever the exercise is. And we're going to get into it, but let's go. So guys, for this exercise, we're going to do some hammer curls. So we're going to have a neutral grip, similar to the other exercises. I think the rep range for this is going to be 8 to 12. We're going to go for a little bit more volume, so let's get into it. Key with this also, get your elbows nice and tight, also nice and together, and keep a good grip.
All right, so the trick is you got to push your arms against the bench, and then they look like twice as big. But no, in all seriousness, for hammer curls and hammer curl-like exercises, it's hitting not quite bicep per se. You know, it's still helping, but it's mostly hitting that one underneath it, which is actually going to make your bicep peak a lot better. So make sure you do some type of hammer curl to really get that peak going, because it's really going to push that muscle up. So yeah, it's also hitting brachioradialis right here pretty heavily. But yeah, we're really trying to hit there so we get that nice peak going. That's where that muscle's gonna stick up.
He doesn't have a nice peak.
No.
That's a little bit nicer one, right there. Yeah. So this is a perfect example. Kyle can go as heavy as me, so basically he went down in weight, which he is so much bigger and so much stronger than me, but he knows his limitations, knows his body, so he decided to go down in weight, get a better workout instead of just bringing his ego to the gym, trying to beat me, and he obviously didn't. But at the same time, he knows his limits, he knows what he can do, and therefore he's going to go with what he can do, and that's going to build him to the next level. And basically he never works biceps, and I always do, so I'm going to have an advantage.
Totally. Yeah, and compounding on that, I suppose. I wanted to say something, but I lost it already. I can get there. Don't worry. We're gonna.
Come on, we're sticking
definitely
here.
leaving this in here too. Yeah, leave the ego at the door. It doesn't matter. You know, I lift all the weight in the world, and you know, that doesn't mean anything. I almost never max out. That meet was pretty much the first time that I maxed out in a long time. So yeah, you're gonna get nowhere if you're injured. So yeah, stop trying to lift heavy ass weight that you can't lift. It's all about form, it's all about control, especially if you're going for size.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's about it.
So guys, that's gonna wrap up today's video. Basically, we went over what Kyle takes for supplements, kind of what I go through. Definitely just an emphasis on the pre-workout. And then we went into overhead presses and a little bit of biceps today. We're gonna finish off with a couple more, if I have a manly voice, we're gonna finish off with a couple more bicep exercises. If you're still here at the end of the video, thank you for watching till the end. We really appreciate it. Obviously, all the support we can get here in the beginning is gonna help out immensely. So obviously hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and push that little bell notification so you guys can see when we post. We're trying to do every week. This week will be twice, so stay tuned. And any last remarks, Kyle?
No, that was about it. Pretty good workout. I'm just getting back in the swing of more bodybuilding style workouts for a little bit here. I'm gonna try to put on some muscle mass, and yeah, so I'll be doing real similar workouts to Dan here, and yeah,
just trying to get
new
like
videos every week.
Woo. Peace out.